Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. This is Loshak in the Bag Show for February 1st. Calendar is flipped. We have the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, of course, and Jimmy the Bag does have pneumonia. He has a pretty serious sickness, but he is recovering, and once he recovers, he will be back joining us every day and every afternoon, as always. But once again, I am doing this show solo, holding down the fort. We are going to be joined by Drew Martin, who is here in Costa Rica, who's going to join us in studio. He's going to talk a little bit about Big Ten college basketball and his thoughts on the Super Bowl later on in the show. And there will not be an afternoon show because, of course, we are all heading down to Jaco Beach to prepare for the big Super Bowl bet cast that we're going to be doing courtesy of Bet Online. We did it last year. It was a hell of a lot of fun. There is a highlights video that has been posted at SBR Sports Picks and on our Twitter account that is very, very funny. Gives you a taste of what to expect. There's going to be a huge party / panel of analysts, including Ed Fang, including some guys from SB Nation, Bud Elliott, and Bill Connolly. Drew Martin will be there. I myself will be there. Jimmy the Bag will be there if he is well enough. You know, he has 2 more days to recover. Those meds can be fast acting or slow acting. If Jimmy the Bag does recover, he will be there. Donnie Rightside is going to be there. There's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and that's the reason why there's going to be no afternoon show today, because we're all moving the whole studio down there, and it should be a lot of fun. Super Bowl Betcast this Sunday. Tune in and watch it at SBR Videos. All right, so today we have the usual Friday card, some college basketball, NHL and NBA. The second half. When the second half is the regular season start, you have to tread lightly. We have a lot more NHL games going on tonight. A few spots I think I am liking. Most of the spots make me a little bit nervous and make me think that I want to hold off. NBA is pretty interesting. Obviously, I'll just tell you right now. We'll see what you guys think about it. Feels like a big bounce back spot for Charlotte, doesn't it? Right? Charlotte's off the ugly loss at Boston. Memphis, they're playing some youngsters. They're a team that is going to have some nice value in spots. Yesterday, in their last game, they were a good bet against Minnesota. Dan Kelly tipped us off to that one, but they're definitely, a team when they're going up against a team that's in a bounce back spot that can get steamrolled. Feels like Charlotte is the play here, first half and first quarter. We'll see what you guys have to say about that. OKC and Miami, classic situation. We've seen this with OKC all year long. OKC, a modest road favorite with OKC written all over them. See if you guys agree with that one. And, it's a bit of a tricky card. Once again, we're going to have Drew Martin joining us. We'll talk NHL, we'll talk NBA, we'll look at some comments, we'll try to suss out some value, we'll probably get some soccer plays in the comments section from Angel Romero and others who hit us up with soccer plays. And and we'll talk a little bit about college basketball. Shane Culmer already giving us some good ones for us in NHL. Tampa Bay first period over and Buffalo money line. Interesting. Tampa Bay first period over and Buffalo money line. Tampa Bay way outshot the Pens in their loss, but the Islanders, very, very strong under-trending team, playing great defense, massive under-trender in the beginning of the season, in the first half, so I can see why you might be leaning a first period over on that one. Tough to take an over with the Islanders, but you might be right. And also the Buffalo money line, let's see, against Chicago. That's the thing. I don't know. The Hawks were kind of improving heading into the break, right? Taves and Kane were putting up points. I was thinking about a first period over in that one, and maybe the Hawks team total over. I was leaning Hawks, thinking about the Hawks, but more so just thinking about an over in the Chicago Buffalo game. We'll talk about that when we get into the NHL segment. Let's see. Thank you, Shane Culmer, for hitting us up with that. Nasty Nate says Hornets are the play. Does feel like that is that's the case. Gate Pass Key says I hope Pete didn't say this NHL card is tough. No, I don't believe I said that. I said that the beginning of the second half of the regular season in general is tough. And actually tonight there's a few. Definitely the Toronto-Detroit game is tough, right? Detroit, Toronto getting Muzzin, adding Muzzin, big road favorite here. How is he going to fit in with this team? That's one tough game, right? Gate pass key, Toronto-Detroit. Give me that. Give me that. Rest of the card, no. There is some stuff I'm thinking about. Minnesota-Dallas under, Chicago-Buffalo over. Calgary-Washington over, and the first period over. Looking like some nice spots. Nashville, Florida, yes, it looks tough. If you have an opinion on Nashville, Florida, you think is kind of no-brainer-ish or kind of obvious, I'd love to hear Gate Pass Key. I'd say about half the card is tough, and half the card has some stuff that looks pretty decent. All right, so let's see. Comments coming in, and then we'll get into NHL in a moment. Let me just see. I'm going to copy and once again, I'm doing this solo. So there are going to be some small breaks where I copy and paste comments. Let's see. Nutflush Allen, huge shout out to Nutflush Allen. It says, I love the prop of the first kickoff with the Pats being a touchback. Okay, I'm not sure where those odds are. Props like those get bet very, very heavily on the opening line. So the odds for those kinds of props can have great value on the opener, and then by kickoff, the value can evaporate. But Nutflush Allen loving the first kickoff with the Pats being a touchback as a prop bet. And Robbie Tagaloa says he bet the other side of that. And again, it all depends on the odds you got. Is that a good bet or a bad bet? Totally dependent on the odds that you got. All right, so maybe Robbie Tagaloa and Nutflush Allen both got the best of it, in which case it's possible they both have a positive EV play there. All right, Gaghard A says Rockets money line plus 170, plus 4.5. I'm all over this one. Yeah, that's a very interesting one. I'm going to copy and paste that one. I mean, it definitely feels like I was thinking about the Rockets early here, right? Houston's off a bad loss, but they've lost 6 of 7 ATS. Denver's just a good team. They've been awesome ATS at home, but it does feel like the spot indicates that Houston, at least early, will be a good play. I was definitely vaguely agreeing with that one. Wanted to get some other feedback on that, but yeah, I was leaning Rockets as well, and more so early. Let's get to some other comments here. Yeah, Geghard A says Denver is too hurt to win in this one. That is true. Although, even with Murray out, Monty Morris did well, in his replacement time, and no turnovers, playing pretty well. So Monty Morris is maybe making the most of his time here. But I agree with you. Yes, it feels like a big bounce back spot for the Rockets for several reasons. All right, so let's see comments coming in, and then we'll get into the NHL. Let's see comments coming in. I'm just checking. You got Moss says, where's the bag? Jimmy is sick. He has a serious illness, is recovering. We're not exactly sure when he will be back, but the prognosis is very positive in general. All right, so let's see. Comments coming in. Looking for it. And then we'll get again, I just want to copy and paste handicapping comments that Ben Sports says North Dakota under 141.5. Thank me later. Okay, I'll copy and paste that one. We'll mention that again in the college basketball segment when Drew Martin is sitting next to me. Talking Big Ten. And Geghard A says OKC minus 4.5. Got good feels on this line. Yeah. I mean, it does on paper seem to have OKC written all over it. And if you want to be a little bit safe, either the OKC team total over or the Miami team total under, or both of them. Obviously, Miami got blown out at home as a double-digit favorite by the Bulls. Now, that result is a little bit anomalous, but, Miami's having some issues with their rotation. They're playing around and trying to see what's working and what's not. A little bit of consistency issue right now for Miami, and it does appear to have OKC written all over. They're just rolling straight up in ATS unless we expect for some reason this particular night to see something different from OKC. All right, other comments coming in, and then we will, Geghard A says, Gonzaga under was amazing. We talked about that last night. Gonzaga under. A lot of people had it. The line got bet down, and we were talking about that in the morning show, all the way up till the end of the college basketball segment with Maxwell Smart. Hold on, let me just pull up my notes here. Got a lot of Word docs here, a lot of notes that I got to look at. Yeah, Gonzaga BYU. Turned out that Gonzaga rolled, but the first half under cashed easily, and the full game under cashed as well, even if you got the late line. So kudos to everyone who had that, including myself, Gonzaga and BYU under yesterday. All right, let's see. In the meantime, what do we learn from yesterday? Utah did not win. Matt Randall liked Utah, and the market took a strong move in Utah's favor. But Oregon got the casher in that one. Let's see what else we have. Oregon State. We knew that one was going to be a line that probably it probably went down to the wire. And I thought that Oregon State on the second half, after being down by about 5 in the first half, was probably a good bet. Oregon State, Colorado. Again, Oregon State, a good free throw shooting team. I like to take good free throw shooting teams in second halves when they're in a relatively close game, down by a bunch of points, because their free throw shooting can keep them in games. And I was definitely liking Oregon State on the second half in that one. We're not going to go over all the college basketball stuff here. And Xavier Georgetown, again, we were talking about this yesterday. It was a game that had live betting written all over it and second half written all over it as well. And I believe in the show, or maybe it was off camera, I was talking about, whatever team is down in the first half is probably going to be a good bet on that one. And it turned out to be the case. Georgetown was down in the first half. They rolled in the second half. And as I said, I say this a lot of times the games that have the toughest pregame lines to bet can be the best games to bet in game or on the second half lines. All right, so just scanning to see if there's anything else that we want to shout out to Maxwell Smart for taking Eastern Tennessee State minus the points against Samford. That was a situation where the line was telling us what to do, right? Where the market was telling us what to do. Samford, great team, ATS overall on the year, and rolling ATS recently as well. Home dog getting bet up. And that would tell you that the market was trying to tell you ETSU was the play, and that was the play. Great call, everyone there. Let's see. Other plays that people were liking: Lafayette, North Texas, Louisiana Monroe. Those all did not cash. So it was a mixed bag yesterday. In college basketball. My Iona first half play lost. So it was a mixed bag yesterday. And my Drexel play on the team total over lost, but they did cover the closing spread, but not the opener. And of course, the Houston team total over also lost just by 2 points. So yeah. And then, of course, the Purdue game, what can you say? Went to overtime. Everyone who had Penn State was on the right side, but that's just how college basketball goes. Sometimes you do lose in overtime games where you were clearly on the right side. All right, let's see. What else do we have to talk about here? Let's see. Comments coming in. Okay. All right. Oh, God. Damon Meadows says, Pete, today is my son's birthday, 9 years old. Can we get a birthday pick? Yes, we can. My birthday picks did not do well yesterday, but yes, we can. We certainly can. All right, so Drew Martin will be joining us in a second. Hail to the victor says play of the day, Davidson -1. And we can jump right in. We'll start with the NHL. All right, a big NHL card tonight. The first game that I'm thinking about here is Chicago Buffalo, and I was thinking about the over, right? Taves and Kane were scoring heading into the break. The Chicago was just a big over-trending team in general, heading into the break as well. Buffalo lost at Dallas. That was a very low-scoring game, but that's what Dallas is doing right now. They're playing tough defense-oriented games and going very low-scoring. And I'm liking here. I'm thinking over. I'm thinking first period over. I'm thinking Chicago team total over. And I was thinking about a shot with maybe Chicago -1. Who was it that said he really liked Buffalo as the play here? I'm not as high on Chicago as I am just on the team total over and on the first period over and the first period over. Let's see. Anyone agree with that or disagree with that? Let's get this money, says Silverback. Absolutely. Let's see. Where are we? Any comments on this Chicago game? It's a little bit interesting that the line is as low as it is, because as we've seen, the market has no problem hanging 7s or 6.5s. There's a lot of 6.5s on the card today. The line is getting bet up, but it's still 6. 6 minus 134. And I will definitely take, to start, the first period over here. I will definitely take Chicago, Buffalo, first period over, and we'll check what that line is. Delia is unconfirmed for the Blackhawks. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be in goal, but whoever it is, Carter Hutton is confirmed for Buffalo, and he's been playing a little bit better recently. But that's okay. I'm still interested in the overs in this one. Start with the first period over. Chicago against Buffalo. Let me find it. Let me find it. Chicago Buffalo. First period totals. Give me a second while I find the lines. Chicago Buffalo. Yeah. Opened at 140. Now it's up to 153. I was hoping to still have something in the 140s. But I will take that one. 153. First period over. 1.5 minus 153. And I'm definitely thinking that the full game over is worth a play. And the Chicago team total over is worth a play as well. 2.5 minus 133. Which is not super high in light of how strong the Hawks were doing offensively right before the break, heading into the break. All right, I think I'm just going to double up on this one. I'll take the full game over as well. 6 minus 132. It's up there, but I'm going to take it, and I'm not going to take the Hawks team total over. We might have like a 5-1 win from Buffalo. Could see that one. So I'm just going to double up on the over. Chicago Buffalo first period over, and the full game over. 6 minus 132. That's the line at 5 dimes right now. Has gotten bet up. All right, let's check some comments, and then we'll look at some other NHL games. Let's see. Gabe Pasquis says Hawks and Buffalo 2-1 type game. Luis Melendez likes the Buffalo over. And Fred Gialli leaning Hawks and under. Interesting. Leaning Hawks and under when we don't even know who's going to be in goal for Chicago. Although maybe some other sites have someone confirmed, but I'm seeing Delia unconfirmed. Gabe Pasquis not liking Hawks and Buffalo over. All right, we'll see who's right. I'm going to take it. But we will, definitely expect the unexpected. This might be a situation where I'm looking at the Hawks, how they played at the end of the first half and in most of the first half in general, and expecting roughly the same here to start the second half and being totally wrong. But I'm going to take this one. And Trevor Loudon says, if Delia's in net, I'm on the under. Okay. All right, we'll see. Luis Melendez likes the over. Based Kenneth says, Pete, I really don't see Chicago winning this at all. Rayhan Hyder says, Pete, you are a god amongst men. How the heck are you? You look great, bro. It's good to see you're doing in good shape. Hope Jimmy feels better. Gets back soon. Shout out to you, Rayhan Hyder. I'm not a god amongst men. I'm a decent human being, though. Thank you for the comment there. Chase Baker likes the Hawks. Ugh, interesting. All right, so let's move on. In the NHL, Allison is asking about Calgary. Likes Calgary here, going up against Washington. Now, this one, obviously, another one where I was leaning over. No Ovechkin for Washington, right? Calgary's top line is awesome, putting up just a ton of points. And the Caps, of course, lost 7 straight heading into the break. So this is one of these situations where at first glance, it has Calgary written all over it. Calgary obviously rolling. Washington can't buy a win and no Ovechkin. But the line is suspiciously low. This is a game where I'm going to think about maybe looking at what happens to the line movement closer to game time, because one would think that Calgary should be a much bigger favorite here. I would have expected them to be, 130s, 140s. I know Ovechkin isn't everything for Washington, obviously, but considering the way Calgary's been playing, considering the way Washington's playing, and Ovechkin out, I would have expected this line to be significantly higher. And I'm thinking that maybe Washington would be the play here, based on what the market is trying to tell us. I was also vaguely thinking about the over. I'm seeing Smith and Holtby. And again, you have to be very careful with these somewhat obvious, seemingly obvious totals in the NHL to start the second half. But I was thinking that the over might be a play here as well. Also has gotten bet up. 6, about minus 110, up to about 6 minus 135. So a 25-cent line move to the over, and I would also be leaning first period over and full game over as well in Calgary, Washington. But I'm going to think about this and actually thinking about the Washington team total over. 2.5 minus 157. I can understand why Allison loves Calgary here. I can understand that. Yes, Darryl Lyles leaning over in Calgary Capitals. The total's gone over in 4 of the Caps' last 5. Absolutely. Definitely thinking about the Gabe Pasquis says Caps had time to get the negative energy out of the room. We'll play solid defense tonight. Could go either way, but will be low scoring. Shane Culmer says, I'm liking Caps. Something's telling me Caps as well, even though it's extremely counterintuitive. Kissy B likes Minnesota, Florida, and Chicago. We'll definitely talk about the Minnesota game in a second. Kyrie Abraham says, stop overthinking, take Toronto on the puck line, and Ottawa first period over. Darryl Lyles says the total's gone over in 7 of the Flames' last 8 games. All right, I'm scanning for comments. Let's see. James Wilson likes Panthers first period over. Panthers first period over. All right, so, and Kissy B has a small lean to the Caps. All right, so let's talk about this Toronto game. Leafs were slumping heading into the break, right? Now they get Muzzin, which is a big upgrade on defense for the Leafs. Leafs are probably going to be a strong team, although, it's hard to say whether the market will overvalue them. This one is going to be a pass for me. A classic early second half matchup. That's going to be a pass for me. Actually, if you gave me a free play on this at the current line, I'd probably take a shot with Detroit. I understand why people are saying don't overthink it and just take Toronto on the puck line. And if you guys do that, I hope you cash, because I'm going to stay off this one. You might be right. But it's just a very, very high line here for Detroit in the plus 160s, and Toronto, again, was slumping to end the first period, the first half of the season. The Wings were slumping as well. I was leaning under here. I was leaning under on this one. Thinking about a shot with the under. Tell me what you think of that. Anderson against Howard. No great shakes in goal, but we are getting a 6.5. Let me see exactly what we would be getting here. Yeah, 6.5. Not quite getting bet into the 7 range, but 6.5 at plus money at Pinnacle. And I was definitely thinking the under, a shot with the under in Toronto and Detroit. Let's see what people have to say about this one. Drew Daddy says, I hate betting hockey. Listen, I hear you. There's a lot of low-scoring games. Whenever you have low-scoring sports, it can be very treacherous. But Jimmy the Bag and I are both significantly up in NHL so far this year, and I've been up in NHL for ever since I've been doing the Low Shack and the Bag show in the regular season for about a year and a half now. So yeah, I hear you about how it can be very stressful and treacherous to bet hockey, but that can also lend to big edges. Alan Action talking about the Dallas money line. Dallas playing defense-oriented games, and we'll talk about that one in a second. I was thinking about the under on that one, although that might be another one that's a little bit obvious. Yeah. You got Moss says Caps back from the break and going to roll. No Ovechkin can help the Caps. Yeah, I'm thinking that this line gets bet up a little bit higher. I'm thinking that maybe if I was going to bet the Caps, I'd either wait for the line to get bet higher or for the market to tell me that the Caps are the right side and money coming in on the Caps and take a worse line more confidently. I would definitely be leaning Caps just a little bit. And Shane Culmer also liking the Caps. And you got me up. You got Mossed. I like the Caps' favorite NHL game of the day. The counterintuitive play of the week, probably. Okay. Let's see. Jesse Cool says, I think the under is dangerous with Muzzin coming over and after the break. Yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you on that one. All right, let's move to another game here. Let's see what we got. Let's talk about Minnesota-Dallas. I was liking the under in this one. Minnesota, of course, won 4-5 heading into the break. Dallas traditionally has done well against Minnesota at home, as the comment section has noted. But I am going to take a first period under here, even though it might be a little bit obvious, and you don't want to take plays that are this obvious at this point in the season. I am going to take the Minnesota-Dallas first period under 1.5 minus 119. First period under 1.5 minus 119. Obviously, Dallas coming off a very low-scoring game. Might open up later on, but I'm thinking that the first period and probably, well, you know what? I don't know. Maybe the full game is a little bit better doing the old buying up to 6 thing, because I don't see seven goals as likely to be scored here. There could be unexpectedly higher scoring in the first period. Leaning under in Minnesota-Dallas. What do you guys think? Yeah, Base Kenneth, I'm loving the under in the Dallas game. For sure. Corey Mack says, Pete, give first-time listener Doc G a shout-out, please. Huge shout-out to Doc G. You're watching the Low Shack and the Bag show, Doc G. My name is Peter Loshak. Jimmy the Bag kills it in all sports. Actually up in all sports right now. He is out sick, but when he comes back, some people say, there are those who say that this is the best sports betting show currently on the internet. And, I think they have a good point when they say that. Shout-out to you, Doc G. Yeah, Kevin Pine says Wilder awful first period. Can easily see 1-1 first period. I was actually also thinking about the Minnesota team total under. All right, you know what? I'll hold off on that first period under as an official play right now. I'm going to hold off on that one. I'm definitely thinking about the Minnesota team total under and the full game under, maybe bought to 6 here. Let me see what the Minnesota team total under would be right now. Let's see. Yeah, 2.5 minus 108, pretty standard. Thinking about the Minnesota team total under and thinking about the under bought to 6. And Fred Gialli says Stars money line is a play tonight. I can see that. I just don't trust the Stars in general right now. And especially not coming off of a win like where they're coming off of. But I can see why people are liking the Stars. All right, let's move on. Nashville, Florida. This is a tough game because Florida has obviously gotten a massive boost with the return of Trocheck, right? They were losing game in and game out. After a long run of losing, Trocheck returns. All of a sudden, everything changes offensively. Trocheck just killing it. On the other hand, for Nashville, Turris is expected back, I think. And so this is just a very tough one. Preds also closed with 2 nice wins. I don't really want to bet on either of these. Bet against either of these teams. I kind of like Florida right now, and definitely like Nashville right now. I think I like Saros a little bit better than Renee. Let's see who's. I'm assuming it's going to be Renee in goal for Nashville. Where is it? Yeah, Renee unconfirmed. So we don't know who's going to be in goal. Luongo's in goal for Panthers, confirmed. And this is just a stay away game for me. Stay away game for me. Let's see how the market has moved. The market has reacted here. No reaction for the money line. And a slight move to the over, which I can understand, but I'm going to pass on this one. Kokab Tafari says, if I know anything about Jimmy the Bag, Calgary in a revenge spot with this value is impossible to pass. Yes, it does feel like, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for Jim. I don't know if he would be on Calgary here, but it definitely seems like an obvious play. And Jimmy sometimes, and very successfully, does take those obvious plays. But as other people in the comment section have said, I think there's reason to believe that with this low line and the lack of movement so far on Calgary, that Washington might be the play. Let's see. Chase Baker, Preds everything, says Florida, but the Preds get this one. Lajai and Jiona Williams sister says, Pete, give Noli knows his props. Fire. Yes, we give Noli knows props every show, and we'll give it to him again. If you don't know who this guy is, he's a dedicated LoBagger. Noli knows killing it on college basketball totals. Follow him, Noli knows, and on Twitter. Okay, let me see. Other comments coming in, and we'll move on to we'll move on to other games. Here you go. Oliver Page likes Caps over Florida money line, Toronto, and the Wild money line. Damon Metters, I really like Calgary tonight. I'm getting on Chicago first period money line. Okay. All right. Next game on the docket, Ottawa, Pittsburgh, right? This is another tough one just because the Pens, had a meeting after the New Jersey loss and came back and scotched Tampa Bay, and that was another game with the 7 that did go under, and I should have been on that one. I was talking about it on the day of that game. Another 7. Whenever you see 7s like that, especially with a team that's probably in a bounce back spot, as the Pens were, looking to take the under. Matt Murray is playing great. This is a huge line, though, and Ottawa, of course, 3 out of their last 5 road games, they've actually won as a massive underdog. So Ottawa is capable, very capable of winning as a massive underdog, and it's not just a one-off thing. This is something that they do, that they've been doing. Ottawa went under in 6 of 7 heading into the break, and this is another one. I was thinking about the under, and I might pull the trigger on this one. This, I feel like, might be a play endorsed by Jimmy the Bag. We'll see. Yeah, it's a very high total. It might get bet up. 6.5 minus 134 to the over, plus 122 to the under, and I'm definitely thinking about taking the under here. Plus 123 at Bet Online. Definitely leaning under in the Ottawa Pittsburgh game. This is very frustrating because a lot of these plays I'd be waiting until the afternoon show to make my official picks on, but I'm not going to be able to do that. I can tweet it out. I want to make some final decisions here, but I'm definitely leaning under in Ottawa Pittsburgh. And as far as the side is concerned, I guess it would have to be Ottawa. I don't think they're going to win here. But when you're hanging a plus 218 on Ottawa, you can't pass that up. It's going to be a pass for me as far as the side's concerned. I'm definitely leaning under in the Ottawa Pittsburgh game. Let's see what we got here. Comments coming in. Kyrie Abraham likes the Pens. Okay. Other comments coming in. Let me know what you think about these NHL plays, and then we'll move on to an NBA, and then we will move on to college basketball and Super Bowl with Drew Martin. Tampa Bay and the Islanders, Tampa Bay did outshoot the Pens in their loss. Tampa Bay is going to, bounce back. They have a big edge on the power play. 5-on-5, though. The Islanders are great defensively. This is a tough one. Thinking about the under. I've been thinking about the under pretty much every game for the past, few months with the Islanders and doing very well with that. Going to be a pass for me. And then the last game, Vegas, Carolina. Vegas was losing heading into the break, and the rest probably helps them a lot. Carolina is solid. The Hurricanes are an undertrender recently, but they've been higher, undertrender on the year, but they've been higher scoring recently, and they're getting a lot of offense. Niederreiter is really helping them, and I was thinking that the over might be a play here. Vegas and Carolina. Obviously, Vegas tends to be a lot more of a tighter checking team at home, and they open things up a little bit more on the road. What do you guys think about Gate Pass Key says Tampa and Islanders could easily go under. Definitely. Mally Mouse says the Lightning haven't lost back-to-back in months. I would definitely be leaning Lightning here, but I got to think about it. Geghard A says college hoops dog of the day for me is Quinnipiac. We will talk about that. Quinnipiac has maybe turned a significant corner recently. We'll talk about that in the college basketball segment. Scanning the comment section for comments. Fred Gialli again, like Stars moneyline play of the night. And Base Kenneth loving the under on the Dallas game. Fred Gialli, I'm only on Stars and Panthers moneyline and Hawks and under. Not going to touch any other games. All right. People are talking about tennis. They're talking about soccer. People don't appear to be terribly interested in NHL, so I guess we'll move on. As of right now, I'm just going to have two plays. Chicago-Buffalo, first period over, and the full game over as well. Nashville, Florida is going to be a pass for me. Calgary-Washington, leaning Washington, and there's just been a very, very slight, but perceptible market movement in favor of Washington at Pinnacle. Thinking about the over in that one as well. Thinking about the under in Ottawa and Pittsburgh. Treacherous time in the NHL, though. Maybe leaning Tampa Bay. Maybe thinking about the under in Toronto and Detroit, over in Vegas, Carolina, and Minnesota team total under and under in Minnesota, Dallas. But just two official plays for me right now. Now let's move on to an NBA. Got to talk about Memphis and Charlotte. Start with this one. Got to be. Is there any reason not to think that Charlotte is not a good play here, first quarter and first half? Yeah, Memphis is playing decently, sure. They've got youngsters who are getting playing time, and that's great. But just feels like off of the ugly loss at Boston, Charlotte comes back here at the very least early, and I won't overthink this. I will definitely take Charlotte at least first half and maybe double up on the first quarter. Let me just find the line here. NBA, I'm here at SBRodds.com, first half point spreads. Let's see what we're getting for Charlotte. Yeah, opened at 2.5. Now it's up to 3. 3 minus 112. I'll take that one. Charlotte first half minus 3 minus 112. That's the current line at Pinnacle. First quarter might be a good play as well. Any reason to think that this is not a good play, that this is some kind of trap? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Because no matter what you think, I'm not going to overthink it, and I'm going to stay on it. Let me know what you think about Charlotte here. Yeah, Chase Baker likes Hornet first half. Geghard A, Hornets will play for sure. Love first half minus 3. Sacktown King says Boston should roll. Okay. That's it for that game. Yeah, I'm not going to overthink it. Now let's move on to the Houston game. People were talking about Houston earlier in the morning in the comment section in the beginning of this show, and I have to think that Houston is a good play here as well. Full game, probably. First half, first quarter, probably. Leaning Houston here. Let me just check what the line is and see where the line movement has gone. Let me know what you think, everyone. Houston, yeah. Slight line move in favor of Denver a little bit. It's a split line, 4.5 or 5. I'm not going to overthink this one. I'm going to take Houston. I'm going to take them a full game, plus 5, minus 113. And I'm thinking about Houston on the first half as well. I'm not going to triple up and take them on the first quarter. But on the first half, catching 3, minus 110 at BetOnline, and I will take that one. I'll double up on this one. Houston, first half, plus 3, minus 110. Again, Houston just has not been good ATS. They're off of a bad loss, but ATS-wise, that was not a fluke. They've lost 6 out of their last 7 ATS, and Denver's just a good team and awesome ATS at home. But I think that the spot here indicates that Houston is the play. Again, Denver has some personnel issues. They've got some injury issues. They're banged up a little bit. Houston's off a bad loss, and I'm going to take them. First half +3 -110, and full game +5 -113. No real opinion on the total. I guess I'd be thinking about a shot to the under. I guess market has, gotten bet down a little bit. So maybe, I guess I'd be thinking about a shot with a Denver team total under, maybe. And if we had an afternoon show, that might be a play that I would add on. 115, Denver team total under. Tempting, but I'm just going to stick with the Rockets right now. All right, up. Joe Anisich says Houston trash, no defense. Sherman Thompson, Houston over. Anthony S., Houston team total over. Allison says, I'll take Houston as a dog, and Anthony S. likes the Houston-Denver game over as well. It's gotten bet down a little bit from the opening line. Oliver Page likes Rockets money line. Richard Lee also likes Hornets first half. All right, so those were the two games that I definitely wanted to make sure that we got to. Houston, liking them, I'm on them. And then Charlotte, liking them, I'm on them. What's going on? Yeah, Drew's coming in a second. The other games are, OKC, Miami. I don't know what to say. Obviously, this game has OKC written all over it. They're just rolling ATS straight up and ATS. And Miami just got blown out at home by the Bulls. Miami has fundamental issues, it seems, and OKC is rolling for real. Might be a little bit of a down spot for OKC on the weekend here on a Friday going in as a road favorite against a team that they might overlook a little bit. So I'm going to pass on this one. I'm going to see what the market has to say about it. Tempting to take, a team total here, maybe the OKC team total over or Miami team total under, but I'm not going to. Then we have Boston and New York. Boston obviously is rolling with or without Kyrie. And I'm not going to take the Knicks first, full game, but I'm thinking about taking them first quarter and maybe even first half. The Knicks are terrible. That's why they're at home catching 1 million points. But I could see the Knicks first quarter being a play, and let's see what that line is. I can feel the no Pete don't do it's exploding in the comment section, even though right now I'm looking at SBR odds. I'm not looking at the comment section right now. 4.5 -108 at bookmaker. Knicks first quarter. The no Pete's don't do it. So are they coming in? No, not yet. Not yet. Any opinions on this Celtics game with the Knicks first quarter plus 4.5? Let me know what you think, because I'm an inch away from pulling the trigger on that. Knicks first quarter plus 4.5. There you go. Geghart A. Pete don't do it. Just one don't do it coming in. All right. I guess I won't do it for now. I'm thinking about it, though. Devo Lane says, Pete, I just put my Uncle Tony onto the show, and he loves it. Can you give a shout-out to Tony Lane in the Bronx? Tony Lane in the Bronx, huge shout-out to you. I wish I could be hanging out with you right now, going to Arthur Avenue, eating some of the best Italian food in the world. Arthur Avenue, huge shout-out to Tony Lane in the Bronx. May Less Pay Less Way likes Boston full game under. Oliver Page liking Celtics, going to jump on them right now. David H. says, don't do it, Low Shack. Reggie I likes the full game under on that one. All right, I'll hold off for now. I'm not thinking Knicks anything other than first quarter. But at 4.5, I am thinking that way. Boston probably rolls in a major way, though, if the game is at all competitive. And Boston might be worth a play live betting as well. Then we have Atlanta and Utah. It's a very tough one. I was thinking that, both are off of bad losses. So I was thinking about a shot with the first half under. But as we know, it's very treacherous. Okay, Drew is ready. Drew's going to come in a second. As we know, it's very treacherous to take unders with Atlanta. Not a lot of defense there. They can put up points, and they've been a big overtrending team. I would be leaning first half under. I'm going to skip it, though. And then the only other game is what else is there? Houston, Denver, Utah, Atlanta. Okay, we got to every one of them. All right, so I'm just going to take two plays that I think are relatively safe, relatively confident in them. And if they lose, I'm okay with it. Charlotte, first half -3. Houston Rockets, first half +3. And Houston full game +5 -113. If we were doing an afternoon show, I would get some more information and maybe add on some other plays, but that's going to be it for right now. Now, we're going to welcome Drew Martin coming into the studio down here in Costa Rica. He is here because he's joining us live in person for the Super Bowl Betcast. We're going to talk a little college basketball with Drew Martin. We're going to talk about a little Super Bowl analysis with Drew Martin. All right, Drew Martin. Here you go. Here you go. Be my guest here. Let me pull up a chair for you. Let me get you a micro. Oh, you got your microphone on? Everything good? Yeah, sure. Just come in. Oh, just come in. Just to make sure no one sees your legs, so they don't see the shorts. But other than that, everything's cool.
Pete, thanks for having me, bro.
Oh, man. My pleasure. Drew Martin, tell us why you're down here.
I'm down here for the beaches. Well, I'll just leave it at that. No, I'm down here for the Super Bowl, the Betcast. Sunday,
Super Bowl Betcast.
Yeah, we're all doing it. We got a bunch of people coming down. Bud Elliott, Bill Connolly, Ed Fang, Donnie Rightside, Pete, Jimmy.
Sponsored by Bet Online. Yeah, Jimmy the Bag hopefully will be there if he recovers. He does have pneumonia, which is pretty serious, you know. But he
real pneumonia.
You know, he has real pneumonia. Yeah,
the thing old people die from.
Yeah, and the thing that you don't die from in 2019. He's going to be fine, but it's just it's definitely a serious issue. So we're not sure if he's going to be there, but we're all going to be missing him in absentia if he's not.
Prayers for Jimmy.
Absolutely,
wow, that's serious, man.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay though. I think he'll be okay because I'm in touch with him. But
okay, good.
Yes,
good.
Absolutely. All right, so, but. What are we going to talk about right now? So it's going to be fun. Where can everyone find the Betcast? They can find it at the SBR YouTube channel. It'll, of course, be tweeted out on Twitter. The SBR Twitter handle is SBR Sports Pick, so subscribe to that and look to that and get notifications from that, of course. And it'll be tweeted out. You can find it on the YouTube channel. It's sponsored by BetOnline.ag. Huge shout out to BetOnline for sponsoring it. And that'll be this Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. It will be a lot of fun. All right, Drew Martin, let's start things off by hitting up our viewers right now with a pick or two. I know you looked at the Big Ten college basketball games, right? What do you have for us, Drew?
Yeah, Pete, but first I want to say, this studio is awesome, man. The lights, the sounds, everything. This is first class.
The weird part about this studio is the entire studio looks awesome except for the part that's actually on camera. And I've brought this up a few times. You know what I mean? Like the part that's on camera looks a little bit like someone's basement, though. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. I mean, you got the mustache.
No,
that's kind of cool.
But I don't think people would assume by looking at this background how professional and awesome the rest of the studio does look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. It looks really good, guys.
Yeah.
And you guys got to get down to Costa Rica because it's a fun time, and the Betcast can't wait for it. But yeah, as far as college basketball tonight, I spent most of my time on the two big games in the Big Ten.
Okay.
Got a half-unit wager and a full wager. Start off, I guess, on the top. Maryland, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You know, two ranked teams. Should be a good matchup here in the Big Ten. 131.5 the total now, or has it changed?
By the way, great call on Wisconsin. Remember the Wisconsin-Nebraska game? You gave us Wisconsin the night before, and despite the fact that Nebraska, had the injuries, that the game seemed to have Wisconsin written all over it, there was a huge market move in favor of Nebraska. Now, when you saw that, did you think, damn, maybe I'm wrong, or were you like, no, you know what? I'm right. The market's wrong. What did you think?
Pete, it's always a tough thing, but Nebraska, you got to stick to your guns.
Yeah.
And Nebraska's been Fade City. They've had the injuries, and it's come to fruition. So if you stuck with your guns and you think you're right, stay with it. Line moves matter.
But in college basketball, less so, and there's a perfect example, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect example.
Especially if you have the inside track on a team and you've been winning with them. Sports betting's something that I preach this, Pete. I don't know if you agree. If it's not broken, don't fix it. If you've pinned Nebraska as a fade team, Fade City, they have the injuries, and you've won twice, you've won 3 times, go 4, go 5, push it. Because a lot of times, the market is slow to react on this kind of stuff, especially in totals. But yeah, tonight, Maryland, Wisconsin, 131.5 the total, I believe. I didn't check it in the last hour or so. Wisconsin favored at home. Wisconsin's a team, the two 6'10 and taller guys, Ethan Happ.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, Ethan Happ is under 50% from the free throw line. They're number 343 in terms of offensive pace, and only 66% as a team from the free throw line. Maryland, on the other hand, keep in mind they won 64-60 the first time around a couple weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, actually. We're up 21 in the second half. I believe that they were the more talented team. Granted, it was at home in College Park. Maryland, number 1 in the Big Ten in free throws, over 80%. Turnovers have hurt them. So if you're looking to bet the Terps, which I am, I got a half a unit on the Terps going into Wisconsin. and coming out, with the win or staying close, Pete. So that's the way I'm betting this on the Terps. Turnovers, got to watch out for them because they have turned it over. But here's the matchup that I like about it.
Okay.
Maryland's defense, or Wisconsin's defense, doesn't necessarily turn their opponents over. They're more of they're better at shot blocking, protecting the rim. They don't turn their opponents over. So I think that Maryland's turnover problems on offense won't be as glaring tonight. So that's the reason I like the Terps plus the points.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at, Maryland has been a sort of a sneaky good bet all year long after their first few games, but now the cat's kind of out of the bag with them. And Wisconsin, though, recently has turned it up as well. Wisconsin, you see this profile from college basketball teams a lot. A team will have a run of a few games where they are, they're undervalued, they cover a bunch. Then the middle part of the season, people start to think they're better than they really are, and they start to become sluggish ATS.
Yeah.
And then at this point, they turn the corner back in the other direction because, of course, they are a good team. They are an elite team, which is why they had betting value in the beginning of the season. And Wisconsin's recent covers have not been accidents. You know what I mean? They've been by margins, right? Beating Northwestern by double digits, beating Michigan by double digits. You don't do that accidentally, right?
No, absolutely not. And it's the number's still at 5. I find it interesting. I wouldn't be giving Maryland 5 points. I know Wisconsin is at home, but also the free throw issues. Because when you try to just look at this, from a blimp's view, do I want to lay 5 points with a team that hits 66% from the free throw line? No, that's just not a profile I look to bet, regardless of the name on the jerseys.
Right.
So that's also another thing that points me towards the Maryland side.
Yeah. So Wisconsin. Do you think that if there's less free throw shooting, then it'll probably be beneficial to them? So maybe Wisconsin is correlated with unders in general because if there's more free throw shooting, then it harms them ATS wise.
Oh, I'm never looking to bet Wisconsin over the total. They're a 300 team in terms of pace. Can't hit their free throws. 2 6'10" guys around the rim. Ethan App's good, but that's about. And also their point guard, Trice. He's a quick guy. Can hit threes. Can hit free throws himself. But outside of that, I just don't.
Dimitric Trice, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah,
Trice.
Their point guard. But so I'm on the Terps plus 5 tonight, Pete.
Yeah, it does seem like Wisconsin, the fewer free throws there are in a game, the better Wisconsin does ATS-wise. So, that's very interesting. Like they shot in the win against Northwestern and Michigan, they didn't even get to double digits in free throw attempts in both of those games. Kind of interesting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I didn't see that stat.
All right, so now we have the Iowa and Michigan game, right? Iowa is a home dog here. What do you think? I know that Michigan is a team you don't really want to be betting against, but this is a game that just has let the market tell me what to do written all over it. And as of right now, money's come in on Michigan.
I wouldn't talk you off of Michigan. I'm
not on Michigan. I'm saying money has come in on the market is telling you what to do as far as so far with the line movement, unless we see something similar to what we saw with the Virginia NC State game, where the initial movement, or even with the Penn State Purdue game, where the initial movement favors the road favorite, and then the later money comes in on the dog.
Yeah, that is an interesting move.
Yeah.
Actually, in this, Pete, I'm looking more towards the total.
Okay.
And I'll say the things against it more on the Hawkeye side. Obviously, if you're looking to bet the over, Iowa top 50 team in terms of pace. And they're just a really skilled offensive team. They can knock down their shots, very skilled. But when they go against the more skilled defensive teams like Michigan State in the Big Ten, they only had 67 points on 69 possessions, less than a point per possession. So that's kind of head-scratching right here. They're going up against Michigan, which has I think you can make the argument, is the best defense in the country, if not the top 5 defense in the country. Efficiency-wise, they are ranking number 1 on KenPom in defensive efficiency. Number 319 in terms of offensive pace. So they're going to slow the game down. I know they are the road team, which worries me a little bit because, a lot of people make the argument the home team controls the pace. They do a little bit. I would make the argument that the more talented team controls the pace.
Or the more veteran team controls the pace.
That as well. Although the home field advantage does have something to do with it. Michigan doesn't foul very much. Only 13% of points against are from the opposing team's free throws. So therefore, Iowa's, knocking down one of the top teams in terms of free throws, but Michigan doesn't foul. Therefore, I would discount that stat a little bit more. So I think Michigan is the more talented team. They will control pace. I take advantage of this high total here for a Michigan game. We're getting 142.5.
Yeah, and hasn't really moved. 143 at the Greek. Now, why would that be?
So if you can get 143, I mean, I'm on the under at 142.5 for one unit, and obviously it's just pointing this higher total towards Iowa being able to put the ball in the basket. But again, Pete, against the better, more talented defenses, they've really struggled. I think they face that here. I think Michigan controls the pace. I'm on the under of 142.5.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, Iowa in general has been a very high-scoring team, but they had their home game against Ohio State that went lower scoring. They played Northwestern, again, a team that likes to slow it down at times, and that one was modest scoring. So you might have something there, Drew Martin, and even against Wisconsin, the game went under. So this is a team that can definitely have games in the 130s where the market is expecting something a little bit higher in the 140s. Nice call there, Drew Martin, on the under. 143 is currently the best line at the Greek. Let's look at some comments and see if anyone is agreeing with you or disagreeing with you, and then we'll look at the rest of the college basketball card just very quickly, and then we'll talk Super Bowl. Have you looked into the Super Bowl yet, Drew Martin?
A little bit.
A little
Pete,
bit?
a
All right,
little
good. So you'll have some things to say then when we talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Kevin Pine says public is on the under and the total went up. Take the over. What do you think about that? In the Michigan game?
No. I'm on the under of 142. So
right, but I'm saying the fact the public, according to Kevin Pine, now I don't know, the total did go up. We know that. Kevin Pine saying the public is on the under, which would stand to reason. I don't know if that's true where he's getting those numbers, but I definitely believe him and trust him. Oliver Page got the under at 144. Okay. And Smart Money likes Iowa, plus 7.5. Darryl Lyles says the total has gone over in 7 of Michigan's last 8 games when playing on the road against Iowa. Okay, that's going back quite a bit, though. And wow, Alan Action, I took the over 142 in the overnight line. Michigan has trended to the under most of the season, but I think both can put up some points tonight. Okay. Let me see. Other comments coming in, looking for what people have to say. These people do know what the hell they're talking about, Drew Martin.
Yeah, I know LoBaggers are against me. No, guys.
I know, Drew Martin, you're sitting here thinking to yourself, why is LoShack reading the comments from all these people in the comment section? No, these are very educated. This is part of the reason why Jimmy the Bag and I have had a successful year overall. All right, let's see.
I've talked with a lot of these guys. I know that a lot of them out there really know their stuff.
All right, so let's see what we got here. All right. Some of the other college basketball games that I was thinking about, Michael Baldonado says Penn against Cornell. I don't know if you looked at that one, Drew Martin. I know you focused just on the Big Ten games, but I was thinking that the Penn Cornell game might be a good play on the over in there. Okay, it's going up a little bit. Opened at 139, now it's up to 140. I was looking at that one. Penn is obviously a strong team, right? Cornell has some life to them though, so I wouldn't necessarily want to bet against Cornell here. They've been decent ATS in January. I understand why they're a big dog here. Penn has been great ATS, a strong team. Maybe a second half play on the spread, but I was definitely leaning over, and I think that might have been my favorite play on the entire card, as well as maybe a shot with the Yale-Harvard under. But I was definitely thinking over. Penn Cornell, it opened at 139. There is still a 139 at Bovada, but it's headed up a little bit, and I'll make that one an official play. I will take that one. Penn Cornell over 139 minus 115. That's the current line at Bovada. And I'm thinking about the first half over also. It should be about 65 or so. Definitely like an over in Penn Cornell. What do you guys think about that? Penn is a pretty impressive team right now. Again, though, don't really want to bet against Cornell. And I think that these teams, it's a relatively modest total. And I'm liking the over, full game 139, and the first half over should be about 65. Let's see what that line is. Scanning down here. Yeah, 65.5. Actually, no 65s. I will take the first half over, though. It's 65.5 minus 110. Penn, Cornell, first half over, 65.5 minus 110. So those are 2 college basketball plays from me. Sean Williams likes Yale +1 and Davidson as well. Yeah, and I mean, Harvard's definitely been a bit overvalued recently, right? Yale is strong. Expect the unexpected, though, in Ivy League conference play. I was thinking about the under and the first half under here. I think both teams are going to respect each other and be a little bit afraid of each other, especially early on. First half total is 68, and the full game total was like in the 145s or something. Yeah, 144.5, 144. I was definitely feeling, under might be the play in Yale Harvard. Let's see what people are thinking about this. Oh no, Rich Money likes the Cornell game under.
What happens? Do you go against?
Yeah, I'm going against Rich Money. That's okay. That's okay. You got Moss says Yale Harvard game will slow down and under will cash. Yes. Noli knows says, Pete, I don't agree with your first half overs. I get it when it's an under, but not an over. You know, Noli knows obviously in college basketball, first half totals are significantly lower than 50% of the full game total. So if you're liking an over on the full game, sometimes depending on the spot and the matchups, the first half over because you're first half total because you're always going to get a much lower than 50% total on the first half can have even more value. Of course, Noli knows there's a lot of modest scoring first halves that then explode in the second half. But in a game like this, Cornell against Penn, I was leaning over, but I might have a mistake here.
Pete, they're correlated, but you don't get the advantage of if it's a tight game.
Right.
You don't get the foul fest.
Sure. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. If that's not what you're expecting for your over, you know what I mean. If you're just liking the over because of the matchups and the pace,
yes,
then the first half overs can have great value. Yes, of course. If you're praying for a close game with all the fouling at the end, that you're basically like praying for a heart attack situation that you cash, which is understandable. You know, however you cash. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Other comments coming in. I am thinking about the under in the Harvard Yale game. And go ahead. Any comments coming in?
But someone's like in Princeton. I know Freddie out there. He was like in Princeton, but I think he went with the Dartmouth Brown game.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anything on that one?
Dartmouth Brown, no, I did not take that. I did not look at that one. Let me see. I'm looking at others' comments coming in. All right, you know what? If there's anything else, gosh, I might have made a mistake here with the Harvard game under, but I will take that one anyway. I'll take it. Yale and Harvard.
Pete, so if everyone's going against you, will you change your bet?
No.
Okay.
Well,
you're sticking to your gun?
Yeah, I actually have I actually should stick to my gun. A few days ago, I was on the Buffalo Sabres team total under, and everyone was telling me over. I stuck to my guns, and I'm very glad that I did. But it's no. I guess the answer is sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
I'm working on having balls, but it's the balls versus humility and humbleness. Dichotomy that I guess never gets settled in life. But I'm going to take a shot with the under Yale and Harvard, 144.5 minus 108. 144.5 minus 108. That's the current line at 5 dimes. I would also be leaning first half under, but I'm going to hold off on that one for now. Yale and Harvard. No, I do like the first half under, though. Yale and Harvard. First half under. I will take that one. 68 minus 105. I'm seeing that one. I'll take both of them. Yale, Harvard. First half under, 68 minus 105. Very treacherous here. Very treacherous, but we'll see. First half under, 68 minus 105, and the full game under I will take as well. Let's check for some comments, and then we'll just shoot the shit about the Super Bowl for a few minutes, and then we'll wrap this up. Fred Gialli says, Pete, if you are not sure, stay away from it. Yes, in general. I was feeling pretty confident about with the Yale-Cornell total, but, maybe I made a mistake there. Noli knows says, Pete, if I give you one of my hats, we wear it. Of course. I wear anything anyone sends me, gives me anything. Anything.
Does that happen a lot, Pete?
It does. This was given to me by Dom Ricci in Vegas.
Oh yeah,
huge shout out to Dom Ricci. Absolutely. In Vegas. All right. That's it. DJ Big Boss. Shout out to DJ Big Boss liking Buffalo today. All right. That is it for college basketball.
Pete,
go ahead.
I think Freddie had a play for college basketball.
He's going to come in?
That's what I was told.
Is he going to come in? Is Freddie's coming in?
Is that okay?
Yeah. All right. I guess it is. I guess it's not up. Certainly, is Freddie Fortune coming in here? But we do want to talk about Super Bowl, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Are we? Wait. Hold on. Let me just wait. Hold on. Can you take over the show for a second?
I'll
just read some comments and say, give shout outs to these guys.
Would I take Wisconsin money line from Joseph?
Do you want to after the Super Bowl?
No, I wouldn't.
Before?
I wouldn't. I would actually take Maryland plus the points, Joseph. Guys, we got bunch here. Nolly, what's up, man?
All right, I can take over now. Here we go. I'm back in charge, baby. All right, it's going to come after the Super Bowl. All right, so Drew Martin, just let's talk about the Super Bowl in general. On paper, based on the advanced analytics, right?
Yeah.
The Rams are the better team, aren't they? You know that, right?
Yes.
But, of course, experience and intangibles is probably more important than anything in 2019 when it comes to sports handicapping, because that is the hardest thing to fit into the models and to quantify effectively and reliably and consistently. Obviously, the big X factor here is how will Goff respond to the big stage?
Yes.
Right? I'm assuming that he's going to get good protection from the offensive line, and I'm assuming at least to start that the Rams are going to try to protect him a little bit, right? Just a little bit.
Sure.
So I was thinking that the first half under might be a play, although I know that's gotten bet down. I know that the Pats are very, very vulnerable with their linebacking core, right? And they're vulnerable to running backs getting receiving production, right? So I was thinking about Gurley if he's 100%, which I'm assuming he is. Gurley maybe receiving props over yards, attempts.
Yes, I like it.
That's what I was thinking. I know that Whale Capper thinks that the Pats are going to have a big edge to start, so he's liking the Pats early.
Just in preparation.
Yeah.
I could see that.
What are you looking at? What bets have you made? What prop bets are you looking at, thinking about, Drew?
You know, and Pete, it seems like I'm against a lot of people out there. It seems like, the Rams in the mainstream and even a lot in the sports betting business seem to be the play to go with. The more talented team, the better defensive line. Their linebackers are pretty good as well. It's just the B&B, the Brady and Belichick angle. You touched on it, Pete, as far as the preparation for this game. This isn't like a normal game.
Right.
This is extra preparation time, one. Also, a longer halftime, a longer pregame being set for the game. So guys being there before, I do think it matters. I think it matters a lot. So in betting against Brady and Belichick has really busted your bankroll. The B&Bs equal B&Bs. So I'm not going against it. I did bet the Pats -2, -2.5 now. So that's what I'm on as of right now. And it's really Brady and Belichick being there before, a lot of guys on the roster being there before. I do think the Rams, like you touched on, are talented. Goff is a high ceiling guy. I think he might be around the league for a while, but this is his first Super Bowl coming, from Cal. He has struggled against, in big games at times with weather issues, I know, against Chicago, but this is a big Super Bowl game. And so I think you're rolling the dice betting on Goff rather than just taking the sure thing with Brady. Not the sure bet. It's never is, but that's why I took the Pats. Nothing crazy, Pete.
Right. Bluebird says Rams are the better team, but Pats will probably win. And Richard Lee says if you can get 3, take the Rams. Yes, and one thing, I mean, obviously, most of the market has 2.5, but Bovada and a few other places have 3. And I've seen a lot of final scores predicting like Pats 28-27. I've seen a lot of Pats winning, but Rams covering predictions.
Which is a tough thing. That's trying to get like a middle there. A large percentage of NFL games, land on 3. So if it's 2.5 or less, I think that, the Pats is the side. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. How are you betting this, Pete?
Well, I was thinking about more props. Yeah, I mean, the first thing I was thinking about was the first half under, right? Yeah. But since it dropped, I didn't get the 28.
Yeah, 28. That's a big drop.
It is. And I know other people were suggesting first quarter under. What's that? Are we getting some remember? Okay. We're getting some notes here from the control room. Remember. Oh, that's right. We have a Juan video, huh? All right, let's show that right now. And then I'll talk about how I'm betting the Super Bowl props that I'm thinking about.
Paz, qué felicidad, qué zen que siento. Jimmy no está, no lo he visto en una semana. No sé dónde se metió, en la cueva, en la casa, no importa. No hay denuncias de acoso, ni de abuso, ni olores extraños, ni ruido. No hay nada. No lo queremos, no lo necesitamos. Am I right, Pete? You know I'm right, dog. You know, you're happy too. And this weekend, I will also be happy. Super game, un clásico argentino. San Lorenzo versus Independiente. My pick, under 2.5 goals. At -175. Why? San Lorenzo hasn't won in the last 9 games. And between each other, in the last 6 games, they haven't scored more than 3 goals. And in the last 5 games, no matter who against who, they haven't scored more than 3 games per game, these teams. They're low-scoring teams. It's going to be great. So, under 2.5 goals at -175. I bet 365.
Okay, very nice. Dewan Smith says, who the fuck is this? That is numero one, number one, who gives us Argentinian League soccer plays. And, he's a hit with the millennials. So we use those spots and we like them. They're fun to do. They're fun to produce. And they're good for ratings in general. All right, so once again, what I was thinking about props, I was thinking about Gurley receiving props.
I like it, yeah.
Receptions or yards, and it seems like the most obvious no-brainer. If there is a no-brainer, obvious public play to do with props, this might be it. Sony Michel. Rushing yards and attempts over. We know that Belichick likes to game plan for the weaknesses of the opposite teams, right? We know that Brady is he wants to avoid pressure from Brady, and that there's the big vulnerability for the Rams is with their rush defense.
Rush defense,
right? And Michel has had particularly good numbers against opposing teams with bad defensive efficiency against the run, and that's exactly who the Rams are. The only reason, maybe the game won't turn out that way is that Belichick, in the chess match, analysis, Belichick knows that the Rams are going to be expecting that, so maybe he won't give it to them.
That's like almost overthinking it.
Is
though.
it? He's going to get a heavy dose of Michel, right?
I think that. Also a heavy dose of Gronk. I like the Gronk over.
You like
3.5 or what? It's pushed to 4. It sounds like a lot of people are onto it, but Gronk over 3.5 catches if you can still find it out there. I like that one. So I just think a lot of quick, short passes for the Pats and in controlling the clock. I think that's going to be a theme for the Super Bowl.
Let me see. Yeah, quick, short passes. Hold on one second. Let me just check. I'm checking Bet365 right now. So if you had to pick one Pats receiver who you think is going to have maybe a down game in terms of their stats, not in terms of their role on the field, but in terms of their stats, is there any Pats player that you think might have a down game in terms of receptions and yards? Might be a good bet on the under.
Not that I couldn't just take one out. No.
Right.
No, I really couldn't, Pete. I don't think that there's a lot of value researching as far as just under on one player, especially with Tom Brady as the quarterback. Right,
because you're thinking that Gronk might be good on his overs.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was thinking that Hogan on his longest reception might be good a play. I saw that at 20 or 19.5 or something like that.
Okay.
Let me see. Player receiving yards. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. And I was thinking maybe about Cooks. Wow. I was thinking about Cooks on the under.
Why is that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I think that the Pats secondary is not going to be afraid of him, and I think there's going to be that they're going to be very speedy. They're not afraid of his speed, and and it's gotten bet down. When I saw it was 75.5. Now it's down to a 71.5, which is interesting. Getting bet down here. Gronkowski is 50.5 on his yards, and Gurley is just 30.5. That's got to be a good play. Gurley receiving yards 30.5. What do you think?
I like it over.
Tempting, right? Yeah.
I like it over.
On the
Pete.
over.
I'm going to make that one.
All right. Yes, and maybe Gurley on his receptions at 3.5 or 3 if we can find that one. I'm checking Bet365 odds right now. Player receiving yards. Where are we? Player total receptions. Here we go. What are we looking at? Gurley at 3.5 at plus 125 though. You might be able to find a 3 somewhere.
Pete, there's a G8 pass. He brings up a good one.
Gate pass key, yes.
Oh, gate pass key. Sorry about that. Shortest TD under 1.5 yards. That's one that I like.
Really, what are the odds on that one?
I don't know. He didn't say, but when he says under 1.5 yards, it seems like there's always a 1 yard quarterback sneak or just ISO or draw right into the ISO or dive right into the end zone. Also, Pete, did you look at any non box score props?
No, I did not. You mean like the national anthem?
Yeah,
I usually nail that every year, but I just did not have enough time to look into that. Hopefully I will before kickoff, but possibly not. All right, Drew, any final words on the Super Bowl before we bring in Freddie Fortune?
If anybody out there can help me, I've heard that there's a prop. Will Jim Nantz or Tony Romo mention Sony Michel and Todd Gurley were Georgia teammates? I heard that was a prop, obviously not in Vegas, in the offshores. And that's going to be an absolute yes. I don't know the numbers. I've heard that's out there. I haven't been able to find it. So if anybody can type in that a Sportsbook has it, I would love to get on that because keep in mind, it's in Atlanta. Athens is almost a suburb of Atlanta, about 40 minutes away. That's got to be yes.
That's got to be a yes. Okay, and that is it. Let's wrap this up with Freddie Fortune. I'm being told that he's got to play for us. Freddie Fortune, come on in. Sneak in here between myself and Drew Martin and give us what you got.
Hi.
Freddie, welcome in.
Hey, Drew, I'm so excited to have you here.
You coming in?
Look, I was planning something for you. It's been like 6 months since I haven't seen you, so I brought all my toys so we can play at the beach together.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, this is Dr. Doom, this is Aquaman, and this is Little Goku.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, we're having so much fun.
I see
What
you
is
got
this
some
one?
dinosaurs there.
I don't know what's this.
Okay, some dinosaurs. Nice.
Okay. Also, so many emotions. I gotta play for you.
Yeah, what are you betting?
Yeah, college basketball. This day is all about you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm taking Dartmouth at 2.5 over Brown and minus 117 at Bookmaker.
Okay, the Ivy League.
Yes. Oh. I look at what I got. I brought my Crocs so we can go to the beach. These socks are palm trees. Oh man. This is gonna be
nice.
so cool. Mr. Peter is
Okay.
playing with us too. He's going to the beach with us. Yes. Goodbye.
All right, Dartmouth.
Good luck on that Dartmouth play. Good luck on that Dartmouth play, Freddie Fortune. All right. That is the last Low Shack in the Bag show before the Super Bowl Betcast, which will be on Sunday at our video channel. Check Twitter, and you'll be able to find the links there. A whole host of impressive characters are going to be kicking around the room, shooting the shit all Super Bowl long. It should be great. We'll see you then on Super Bowl Sunday.
Thanks for having me, Pete. That was fun.
Sure. Yeah.